Alright, so today we actually got in a dev call with Derek, which I believe is one of the Western community managers that sort of does all the translation and everything, and back and forth between the devs in China and the community managers in the Western side of things. We got a bunch of good information and hopefully a step in the right direction. Especially compared to my last video. I did come off a little toxic, and rebounding off that, this isn't like I'm back on Team oncehuman, I'm not gonna fully support the game yet. That really comes down to the 1.3 dev stream, which I will be reacting to live on stream. But with that said, there was some good questions asked with some good answers from Derek, who was again the Western community manager that does all the relaying and stuff like that. So I first off want to quickly just go over some of the answers and the questions we got, and what this means, and ultimately how I feel about the game after hearing this, especially coming off my rant yesterday or a couple days ago. I think it was yesterday. So one of the first things I quickly want to mention, and probably the most important thing, is the server lag and server stability. Now, this was one of definitely the pivotal moments of this meeting with the community managers and the other creators, and effectively, the devs are aware that it is a very serious problem, and they do have an all-hands-on-deck for it, and we are actually getting a massive technology server improvement coming with the Way of Winter patch on October the 17th, and alongside that, we are getting another phase to that, or another addition to that server fix towards the end of October. So it's effectively a two-phase fix. You get part 1 on October, and part 2 of the lag fix will come later in the month. So hopefully that does fix a lot of the big concerns. Now, obviously that doesn't make up for effectively the Prism Clash scenario being entirely on bad servers, because most people, including my server, will have ended by the time all of these changes are in, which does kind of suck, but hopefully going forward this isn't an issue. And to add to that, the devs are aware that there was a lot of issues with Prismverse, and they weren't happy with the outcome, and they are aware that players weren't happy and didn't have a fun experience. So it is good to hear that they do understand us, and they are empathizing with us effectively. Now, that's a double-sided story. I'm still man, they could have really addressed this formally instead of through a creator call and so, but it is nice to know that they do care. I just think maybe they have a problem struggling to communicate that with us, and maybe that's something that can be worked on in the future. So again, a lot of you guys will be hearing about this through me, which shouldn't be the case. You guys should be hearing it from the developers themselves, but at least they do care in some way, which is good to know. So again, we can expect server improvements this month, and hopefully that will be a big improvement going forward. But again, that does suck that the whole Prism Clash was affected by this. So yeah. Anyways, jumping on to some of the next, I guess, information we got is that the red tier of weapons is not scrapped and is coming. So I talked about this way back in my leaks video, where it was a thing back in closed beta test 1. It is still a thing, but it is way down the pipeline. The red tier of weapons probably won't be coming for this scenario. I'm pretty sure they said it definitely isn't coming for Way of Winter. So you can expect that way down the line in a different scenario when it's more ready and more complete with how the devs want to implement it. It's not going to be the same implementation it had in closed beta test 1. It's going to be a little bit different, but it will effectively be a thing still, like a red tier, an artifact tier if you've ever played New World. Some of the other interesting things we got answers to was, for me, this was actually a question I submitted, was PvP kill sounds, kill feeds, and hit markers is actually going to be coming in the near future, according to how the question was answered. Effectively, Derek said that is a reasonable feature. So in the very near future, for my PvP folks, we can expect a little bit more of a dopamine when we eliminate other players, which is something I've found very important in a PvP experience, especially coming from New World, where you have that distinct ting when you kill a player. I think it is absolutely important to nail that sort of rewarding feeling for beating someone else and being the better player, and is what ultimately to me creates a very good PvP experience. And it's such a simple feature, and it's good to hear that they think it is a reasonable feature, and it is probably going to come in the near future. Now, probably won't expect it for a couple months, probably at the very least. So another thing that was mentioned was the exploits, the specifically render distance exploits and crashing and all of that kind of stuff from the Prism Clash servers, is the devs are aware and they are working very hard to address some of this stuff, but it is not in the pipeline, or they don't have full fixes for it yet, but you can expect some like alleviations or bits of it to be addressed within the next October patch, which is the Way of Winter on October 17th, but I don't think you should expect a full fix to it yet, but they are working hard on it and getting small tweaks done to make it not as bad. Another thing they're very aware of is the wall stacking exploits. Some of you guys probably know about this, especially if you're on Prism Clash. It creates impenetrable bases. It's not very fun. The devs are also aware of this, and we can expect a fix in the near future. This won't be October 17th, but they are aware and working hard on it. Some of the other things you can expect are meta and balance changes, which is obviously very important to me. I was starting to get a little bit bored of the bingo jaws meta. The devs are aware, and you can expect a fairly decent meta shift or balance spice up with the Way of Winter update, especially to accommodate the new weapons such as the M4 and new armors. Now, I wasn't sure if there was going to be new armor. It is confirmed. We are going to be getting new armor sets. Don't know what they are, and they said they might not be in the dev stream either. However, we will get to find out what they are when we jump in on the Way of Winter update. So there are still going to be some surprises that we won't see in the dev stream, which I think is fine. I don't want all of the content spoiled, and it's in fact a good thing, because they said, or Bonderek said, that you will have to find some of the stuff in game because effectively they couldn't all fit it into the dev stream. That is a good sign to me. That means there is a lot of stuff, right? And that is very reassuring. In fact, I think that is a fantastic thing to hear, that they can't fit it all in the dev stream. Now, again, I'm going to be blunt here. I don't want to sound and come off like I'm now riding oncehuman, as much as inappropriate that sounds. That's not the case. I actually am very supportive of this game and very critical, and I do get heated when I want to, especially present in my last video. But after today's dev creator talk, or lunch with Bonderek as it's called, this is very reassuring to me that they do hear some of the pressing concerns of the community. I think the main thing is the formal communication with the player base. That's sort of the main problem. Or the fact is, you guys have to hear a lot of this information through me, which is actually more or less the concern, right? Now, obviously, this is good for me. I'm not gonna lie, I see green when this happens, but, you know, at the end of the day, I think this should be direct to the players instead of me or a creator to the community manager, then to you guys. But, you know, again, I can't complain. Obviously, but it is a little bit unfair for you guys, the player out there. So some of the other stuff we also can confirm is gear mod acquisition. Now, I know that a lot of people hate getting RNG mods, and in fact, the devs are aware, and when a mod drops, I believe in the Way of Winter this is coming, I can't quite remember, you will be able to choose the core effect or the core keyword of your mod. This is honestly awesome to hear, because one of the big things for me, and I know a lot of other people, is farming mask mods in EX1 fucking sucks, dude. And they're aware. So when you farm EX1 now, you're going to be able to pick your core effects, which means the only RNG now comes down to the suffixes, making it a little less punishing, which is awesome to hear. It makes controllers feel more meaningful and less RNG, and it's more fair for players across the board. And another thing I didn't mention that is actually very important, that I probably should have put towards at the start of the video, is that the old area of the map is still going to be accessible. So you are still going to be able to go to Red Sands, Blackfell, Chalk Peak, Dayton Wetlands, forgot the area below Dayton Wetlands, and Iron River, while also being able to traverse the new winter map. This is fucking awesome to hear. This was honestly one of the biggest concerns to me, especially in a video I made a couple videos ago, where I was like, I really hope they don't effectively just delete the old content. This is reassuring. Again, I hate that you guys had to hear it from me. Obviously, I like that, but they are going to give access to the whole area we currently have and the new area, which means there's no effectively deleted content. You're just going to be getting a map expansion on a new server. Again, you will have to re-level to 50, but as it stands, I'm at least happy that you get to effectively keep the old content. You get to go back, you get to explore the old areas that you may not have finished or completed. And I think that is quite reassuring. because that was a big point of contention for a lot of people. So I'm very happy about that. And again, it sounds like I'm fucking riding oncehuman again. I'm not dead, but these are good changes and good things to know. I'm still not fully team oncehuman still, but this is bringing me back a little bit of hope about a game I am very passionate about. Some of the other smaller things was that, again, you've got new Wish Machine prize pools with the new weapons and armor, which is fantastic. Then you also have the deviation backpack limit, I think was mentioned. Don't take my word on that one. I actually would have to go back and check the notes. I'm going to leave it in though, because I'm pretty sure it was a thing. So that is sort of all the main juice we got from that dev community manager talk with the other content creators of the game. And I'm pretty happy coming out of it, honestly. It gives me a little bit of hope again. Now, I'm not fully endorsing or supporting the game. I do think you should be boycotting the Lightforge loot crates and, you know, giving your honest opinions in a Steam review. But this is giving me hope. It's more a matter of how they do their communication, if anything, is the problem I see from all of this and what I'm seeing. And again, the dev stream really is the most important thing. The dev stream today is really what's gonna make or break the game for me. So yeah, I will see you guys there. I'm gonna be reacting to it live on Twitch. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy. I'm not as mad as I was yesterday. I'm going to give this game a second chance, in short. Now, I know I said I was gonna quit, never come back, and I kind of come off as a hypocrite now saying that, but I do want to give this game another chance. It is a special game that has a lot of potential. I think the devs here, and they empathize with the player that has had the issues, us on Prismverse especially, and they're trying to work hard to move past these problems, and that is good to see. That was one of the most important things that came out of this dev talk. So I will see you guys in the next video, which will be probably covering more the in-depth way of winter stuff in the dev stream, but until then, peace.